What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out how do you get a Challenger 2 tank across a river. Meet the M3 Amphibious Rig. I was actually thinking of this when we checked out the Challenger 2 tank maybe a week or so ago. It was the first time that Lindsay or I had ever really looked at a tank before, and it was incredible. It was a beast of a piece of machinery. And so this should be really interesting. Like, how do you take a monster piece of equipment like the Challenger 2 tank and actually get it across a river? And so I'm guessing we've got obviously something that is put on, in this case, something called the M3 Amphibious Rig that kind of carries it across the river. I've never seen anything like this. This is only the second time I believe I've ever seen anything to do with an actual tank before. But I have heard in the comments that I need to look at the Challenger 3 tank. I don't believe that is really the tank that's in use by the British Army at this time. I think that is the next generation that is probably going to be being used in the near future. I don't know. They might use it at this point. I'm not really sure. But from what I understand, the Challenger 2 tank is the current tank that is generally used within the British Army. But guys, before we get started, I must say I am super excited because I went outside and it's literally 44 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, that feels like spring to me. Like I'm wearing my hat instead of my beanie. I got a t-shirt on because it feels so amazing. But it's kind of funny, you know, like that's really cold weather, but it's been so cold here that 44 degrees Fahrenheit literally feels like springtime to me. But anyways, guys, unfortunately, Lindsay couldn't be here with us today. She was busy. We've been pretty hectic lately. And so sometimes it's been kind of hard for us to be able to sit down together and make a video. But pretty soon that should get back to normal. It's just been kind of a hectic period of time. But no worries, she's fine. And she'll probably be on tomorrow's video like normal. But I wanted to go ahead and check this out because I think this is going to be very, very interesting.
Today we're going to look at the M3, it's parked behind me. The actual purpose of the M3 amphibious vehicle is for bridging and ferrying operations. This allows the battle to move across wide water gapped areas.
That's literally like a moving bridge. Wow.
So it's the British Army's only wide water gap crossing capability. 2 M3s coupled together
That's
can carry
cool,
one main
man.
battle tank. 4 M3s coupled together can carry 2 main battle tanks.
Wow.
It'll carry a maximum weight of 132 tons wheeled, which gives you the capability of taking your sort of Oshkosh with a hat and the Challenger on the back.
That's incredible. 132 tons. I was just wondering how much weight that could carry, but this obviously isn't just for the Challenger 2 tank. Obviously, this is how they carry the Challenger 2, but this is how you guys carry, you know, a lot of different equipment, it seems.
And the what of that is you can get a lot of kit across to the battlefield and keep the battle moving. Okay, and now then, using Colin, what we're going to do is the
River
M3 is now
monster
going to transform itself into its water position. So how it would go in the water. That's by Colin will operate the pontoon levers and open up the pontoons. As we can see, this is happening now.
Wow.
Once the pontoons are fully down, he will then lock the pontoons to the hull.
Guys, that's incredible.
Just shortly before entering the water, you then put the splash plate up, and you can see the splash plate's gone up there now, and the splash plate is designed to protect the windscreen on splashing into the water.
What?
Once the vehicle is in the water, he'll then retract the axles.
No.
On dry land, this is now going to make the M3 sit down onto the ground.
That's incredible, guys. Seriously.
Here, obviously, the vehicle's now floating on the water, and the wheels have been retracted into the hull, into the body of the hull.
This is a transformer.
The M3 in its water position. The M3 would drive into the water with the axles out, obviously, and once the vehicle's afloat on the water, the driver would retract the axles into the body of the hull. Obviously, on dry land, that looks like the M3 is sitting down on the ground. And now we're going to meet the pilot who makes this amphibian move on the water, and this is Lance Bradley Ware.
Yeah, so I'm going to take you through the pilot stand. Funnily enough, it's got nothing to do with flying, but it is a very good bit of kit. Here in the middle, you've got the master pilot. This is essentially used, if you imagine you're in a car and you wanted to move that car left to right or diagonal, that's what this does. And then here is essentially a steering wheel. So if you want to steer that car or steer the rig, that's exactly what this will do. Yeah, I've piloted for 6 years, and they're very nimble, very easy to use on the water.
Okay, so this is really interesting to me because when I first saw this, I didn't know it was like an actual drivable on land vehicle. I was wondering like how they got it here. You know, I was wondering like, how do you carry this thing? But it's literally, it's the vehicle itself that transforms into this amphibious vehicle. I mean, it did say this amphibious rig, that makes sense. But that's incredible. But I'm wondering, like, what am I looking at? Where's the front of it now? Is it on the other side that we can't see here?
And
but I still can't see where it's at.
I don't have a driving license. However, I can control this on the water, even though it's a 26-ton piece of aluminium. But yeah, a very good bit of kit.
How hard is it to steer?
It's an experience thing. So I think some people definitely struggle in the beginning because it's on water and it's obviously very different to anything else.
Yeah.
But once you get it in your head that you have to counter things maybe a little bit quicker than you would driving, for example, it's quite easy.
How long does it take to become a pilot?
So our pilot's course is 2 weeks long. In that you go through man overboard drills, close coupling, open coupling, ferrying, bridging. You go through pretty much every job that you'd be asked to do as a pilot, as well as going through emergency pilot controls. So commanders usually will be on the ferry, and they have hand signals that they will give to the...
I can't tell what I'm looking at in terms of this large vehicle here. I mean, it's odd because I saw it transform, but it looks different, like much different when it's in the water.
The pilots, for more power, less power, which direction they're going to travel in, and they will help.
Wish I could get a closer look at this.
Linked together to come in and couple or come into bridge.
How quick is a vehicle crossing?
So the other day we put in a 14 rig. There were 14 rigs, 4 rig ferries. That took us 16 minutes.
Okay, hold on. See, I'm having a hard time understanding, like, what exactly am I looking at in terms of this amphibious vehicle? Because it doesn't look anything like what I'm seeing sit there on land. I must be missing something here. Like what? Yeah, I'm having a hard time understanding what exactly I'm seeing here.
To fully construct, and then we was waiting for...
Wait. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Traffic. So it can be pretty quick. Back in Minden, we put in a bridge of, I believe, 9 rigs in 25 minutes. So yeah, it is quite fast.
Wait, you're attaching these together? That's what I'm seeing. That's why it's so long, and I'm like wondering how is that on this one vehicle? They're literally attached together somehow. And then you're able to float a bunch of stuff at once across the river?
Yeah, it's quite quick.
Wow. Guys, that's incredible. I was trying to really get a good look at this. Like, where does, let's see if I can find it. Like, where does the cabin, so to speak, go? I'm not really sure how that works, but this is incredible. I see why it's called the River Monster. What an amazing vehicle. I had no idea how you would carry tanks and other military equipment across a river like that, and now this makes sense. And this is genius. It's amazing. I'm guessing maybe when they talked about how it was to steer it, I think maybe it kind of feels a little bit like a boat, perhaps. But I wonder how that works if you have multiple of them attached together. Because it seems to me that you have multiple of these attached together somehow. Because it looked very, very long, much longer than this. And I think that's what they were saying. They were attaching these together. unless I'm misunderstanding something here. But wow, I had no idea. Now I know. I love looking at things like this, guys, because this is the type of thing that I've kind of been curious about from time to time, but never really understood how that worked. It's just genius. It really is. So if you have any suggestions regarding things like this, different military vehicles, interesting, kind of engineering feats, if you will, kind of like this. I mean, this is literally like a transformer. But if you have any recommendations, please feel free to leave them in the comments. But guys, absolutely awesome. But I think that's it for me today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey. Until next time, peace.